The last 2 weeks of this program are all about action, but not in a typical way that we think about action most of the time. A few years ago, back when I became obsessed with success, with greatness, with acknowledgement, everything that I now know was complete ego gratification. I dove fully into the gospel of peak performance. And the first commandment in that gospel is any result that you want depends on the actions you take. And you have to work your ass off to get it. Action is the only thing that produces results. So I became obsessed with action because I wanted results. And I filled my day, my week, every hour, every minute, every waking moment with action. I wore the hours of the week that I worked like a badge of honor. 70 hours, 80 hours, 100 hours. I'm working as much as possible, so I'm going to be as successful as possible. And I also acquired an anxiety-inducing belief. If I'm not taking action, then I won't be successful. And when things didn't go the way I wanted, then action was to blame. So I had to work harder, better, faster, stronger. I always had to take more actions or the right actions. It was madness. I was crazy. And I got to a point where I was working so much but still not producing the results that I wanted, and I didn't know what to do. I couldn't see any way to expand my capacity anymore. But this is what we all do as part of the American ethos, the gospel of success and high performance. The thing is, when I look back at it, no incredible result or outcome that I have ever produced in my life, no deep-seated commitment was ever fulfilled as a direct result of more, better, or faster action. At least the way that I conceived it at the time. It has always been the result of some random conversation, some unplanned experience, or some piece of information that I just happened to come across because I'm in the right place at the right time. You could call it luck, you could call it favor, you could call it the quantum field. I don't care what you call it, but all of the things that I have wanted most in life, all the experiences and accomplishments have come when I least expected it. It's actually like I gave power away to the universe, and then the universe gave it back to me. There's an inherent problem with the belief that I mentioned earlier. If I don't take action, I won't get results. The problem is that we're all ignorant. We have no idea what action is the right action. There's no way, all the research we do, all the books we read, all the people we talk to, there's no way that we can actually know which action is gonna get us to some thing, some vision that we want in the future. We can never actually know, but we do our best. Even that vision that we have, the goals that we set, we're ignorant there also. We think that some outcome or result is gonna be the thing that makes us happy, when more often than not, it ends up being a means to an end. Like, we get it, and then we're not happy. These last 2 weeks are all about stepping outside of our regular programming, outside of the typical American ethos, the gospel of success. And it's about stepping into a new paradigm that engenders lateral thinking, creativity, openness, and play, really. It's about helping you get out of your own way so that the action, the path, or the solution that you actually need to get what you want most is revealed to you, oftentimes when you least expect it. So, instead of giving you more actions to take, because I know at this point you have plenty of them, I'm going to give you a way to be. And I want you to take it seriously. I want you to really try it on like an experiment just to see what happens. And it's actually pretty simple. I'm just going to share with you what I have done to get everything that I have wanted to become who I have become in life thus far. When I'm looking at a goal that I want to achieve, a commitment I want to fulfill, or a problem that I want to solve, this is how I approach it. First, I assume that I actually don't know the right action to take. I have no idea, and I let go of having to know. When you do this, then not knowing actually becomes liberating instead of disempowering. That uncertainty actually becomes a gift or like a space of opportunity instead of a space for fear and doubt. And then I ask the universe for help and I pose it as a question. I say, what do I have to do to achieve blank, to fulfill on blank, to solve or resolve blank, or to have this experience or this breakthrough and blank? What do I have to do? How do I do it? I don't know. So please send me whatever I need to know, whatever I need to experience, whatever I need to see in terms of information or insight. Like whatever I need, please help me figure out what I need to do or how I need to do it. And then I immediately extend gratitude. Now, I don't know what your spiritual beliefs are, but I have a sense that most people have some belief or understanding in a higher power or some universal energy or the quantum field or God or something. To me, those are all just different ways of describing the same thing, the same phenomenon. For me, it's God in the universe. But whatever it is for you is not how you describe the thing, but really your relationship to that thing, how connected you feel, how interdependent, how much you feel you can rely or trust whatever that thing is for you. And what you do in extending gratitude is you have a conversation that goes something like this. Thank you, universe, or thank you, God, for sending me everything I need. Thank you for putting me at the right place at the right time to discover the right thing for me to figure out what to do or how to do in order to achieve or solve or resolve or fulfill or experience or break through. Thank you. And thank you for giving me the very next action that I need to take. And then you let go. You don't have to do anything right then and there. You don't have to do anything, but you can take an action. And really any action will do. You can do some research, Google something, Google your question. You can call somebody, whether you trust them or not, and just share what's on your mind. You can just go back to your regular task list and knock off whatever work you already have. You can do one of the actions of clearing out your evidence or playing your game to reach your milestone. You can sit still. You can take a nap. Any action will do. Whatever it is, you just have this trust or this faith that that next action will get you to the next action, that get you to the next action, or somehow, some way, your question will be answered. And I'll give you a couple really perfect, really quick examples. So a few years back when I was really inspired by all the development and activity in Detroit, I was going to a lot of events. I was going to a lot of workshops, a lot of performances and art scenes. And at a certain point, I realized that I was being a consumer, that I was only going to watch and consume things that other people created. At that point, I decided that I wanted to be one of the creators, one of the producers. So immediately, I just called the first people I knew who I felt like would be on board with that. I called a couple friends from high school. Mind you, this is after I graduated college. I called a couple friends from high school and say, hey, do you want to do this project for me to help people self-actualize? And they were like, sure. And we met a few times, but nothing really clicked. Like we didn't have the skills. We didn't know what we didn't know. And everything ended up falling through. So fast forward a little bit. I'm sitting in the car after attending yet another event and reflecting on how much I suck at picking good people to work with. And I just had this conversation. I said, thank you, God, for sending me the right people. Thank you for sending me the people who I can actually be friends with, who we can grow together, who we have a common shared vision. Thank you. Because I don't know how to pick people. And I kid you not, probably within the span of a month, I bumped into one of my coworkers. We had been working together for years, barely talking. And in this particular interaction, we had a conversation where we basically poured out our souls to one another and were really vulnerable, which eventually grew to us talking about what we wanted to do with our lives. And right then and there, we knew that we were going to build something together. That friend became one of the co-founders for the company, the startup that I eventually ended up founding. And then a couple weeks later, I ran into another friend back from middle school. Same thing happened, and he ended up being the second founder of the startup. That became possible when I actually let go of knowing the right thing to do and actually was open in my world and in my environment to receive everything that I needed. Another quick example, I'm in school in my master's program for psychology, and I know that I want to be a life coach, but I don't have any idea how to actually, what steps to take to do that. So I have the same conversation. I say, thank you, God, thank you, universe, for revealing to me the exact steps that I need to take in order to become a life coach. And similarly, within a number of weeks, or I can't remember the time frame, whether it's weeks or months, but similarly, in a matter of time, I'm at work. I receive a phone call from this woman who wants to bring a team coaching program to the school that I work at. In that conversation, I say, oh, this is really cool because I want to be a life coach. She says, oh, you want to be a life coach? Why don't you come get trained with us for free, completely free? I'm like, okay. And then at the training, one of the guest speakers is a life coach. And I walk up to him and I say, hey, I want to do what you do. And he says, okay, let's get coffee. And from there, he actually becomes my coach, telling me what programs to participate in, telling me what steps to take to establish my practice, and coaching me to do my own deep work so that I can do the same for other people. That became possible when I made the request, when I asked the question and then let go. Let's take a moment for you to do the same thing right now. First, write down the thing that would make the biggest difference for you over the next 2 weeks. The achievement, the breakthrough, the fulfillment of a commitment, the problem that could be solved, the dilemma that could be resolved, the action that you could finally take that you haven't taken the whole time you've been in this program, the experience that you haven't had, the result that you still haven't produced. Write down that thing right now. Now, whatever it is, pose it as a question in the exact same way that I have in the past. You can have the internal conversation yourself. Things typically have more power when we write them down, so you can write it down. What do I have to do in order to achieve blank? In order to fulfill on blank, in order to experience blank, in order to have a breakthrough in blank, in order to solve or resolve blank, in order to take blank action. What do I have to do, or how do I? What do I need? What do I have to discover? Write that down as a question. Now, take a moment to express gratitude for the fact that you have already received the answer to whatever that question is. Express gratitude to what or whoever it is you believe is the higher power or the organizing energy of life, of everything that exists. Just say thank you for sending me the people, the experiences, the information, the resources. Thank you for sending me the realization, the aha moment. Thank you for putting me in the right place at the right time. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for the reflection. Thank you for whatever it is that it took for me to get the answer to this question. And add to that whatever you want. Make it nice and juicy for yourself. So by the time that you're done saying it, that you actually feel all the reverberations and vibrations, the emotions that would really come with that gratitude, the experience of receiving whatever you need. And that's really it. This is the way that I want you to be. This is my coaching to you, how I want you to be for the remainder of this program. Open, expecting, grateful for receiving whatever it is that you need for that final thing that hasn't budged for you in this program. The final thing that still hasn't happened for you as part of your 10x game or as part of the experience that you want for yourself. And again, think of it as an experiment. It's just something that you're trying out to see if it works, just to see what happens, to humor me, to humor this program, to humor yourself. And I promise that if you really take it seriously, if you really take it on, this way of being, if you really have this conversation, then something magical, miraculous, or unexpected will happen that will blow your mind. And remember, this is all about action. So when you're being this way, continue to take action. Now you already have your 10x game, all the actions you're taking to hit your milestones. You already have that list of evidence that you recently created and the actions that you can take to clear that out. You already have the task list that you have as part of your regular day-to-day work. Consider all of those actions as items on the menu for you to choose from. Any of them will work. Just take action in that space. Take an action now, take an action later. Return to business as usual and see what happens. That's it for this week. Peace.